Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's reading. Of course, you know me as the Shadow Seeker, and this is a general tarot reading for my beautiful collective that I channel into every week. I do apologize for continuing to stay on this inconsistent weekly schedule, but I am trying to do better. Recently, I have been going through quite a lot, energetically speaking. I have recently rediscovered a new hobby of mine that has been really helping me process a lot of residual energies and really helping me get a lot out of me, in a sense, a lot of stagnant gray matter type of energy that I normally talk about in a lot of these types of readings. So I do apologize if I seem very distant, but I am still here. I'm still going to be performing these weekly readings for the collective that I channel in. And if you're new here, I do these weekly readings. Usually it's one reading per week for a very specific collective. But if these messages resonate with you, please only take what, really truly connects with you. Don't try to make anything fit. And if you feel guided, I really do hope something is here for you. So we are going to jump into the reading. For some reason, I felt really guided to use my very first tarot deck that I ever obtained. But then I felt this weird, like divergent, chaotic energy. I'm not sure why. And for some reason, I didn't want to imprint that type of energy onto my first deck because that deck really means a lot to me. And I really only use a particular deck for all of my collective readings for the channel. But I do have my very close personal deck with me. It's going to be sort of anchoring the energy here within the reading, but I won't be using it though. I'll still be using the collective deck that I have. So this reading might be a little small compared to some of the other readings, but what we're going to be looking at here is we're going to be looking at what it is that we all have recently been collectively releasing, where we currently are, and what is to come based off of that current energy. But we're also going to look at what we need to release in order to align with that particular potential timeline. So let's start with what it is that we need to, I'm sorry, not what we need to, but what we've already released, what we've already integrated. I also want to point out that even though this is the current energy that I'm reading, currently right now as I'm recording this, these messages are timeless. So whenever this finds you, whenever you feel gravitated towards this, this will be for you. So, to open up this reading for what it is that we have released, we have the Five of Cups. So, that's a really interesting start to this reading. So, immediately I'm feeling something that's really tied to relationships. So, this might be a relationship reading primarily. And when I say relationships, it could be divine counterparts. So, it could be, soulmates, twin flames, or some other powerful divine connection that you have with somebody, maybe a karmic connection. But this could also be a lover, this could be a friend, a family member, something of that nature. Now, the Five of Cups, definitely speaks to a lot of disappointment and sorrow and grief, primarily, even regret. And I'm strongly feeling the grief and the regret. This is really focusing on like something that has transpired or almost like spilled milk, so to speak. But because this is our past, like this is what has been released, this is really showing me that the grieving process itself is what's being released. But because we have this card that is in our past, it's like there's something that's still kind of there, like some sort of residual energy. This could be centered around illusions or the disappointment of something that didn't work out. It's almost like someone here is like focusing on what went wrong with something. And there might be a lot of residual anxiety that is being highlighted here for this particular energetic thread that I'm feeling. So, for many of you, I get the sense that if this is connecting, it means that there's something residual, some sort of unfinished business, even that has not been fully worked out. And you've tried your best to sort of ignore it, but it's still there. It's still really pulling on you in a very unconscious way. But I do feel like some of you also can see it in a very conscious way. It's very much still in your 3D. So this almost feels like you have one foot in, one foot out. I'm not sure why I picked up on that, but it does feel really heavy. It really does, and as I'm shuffling now, I just need to kind of clarify the energy a little bit. We're using the What's the Vibe deck, and we have the Waves card, which says emotions, worry, fear. So this really confirms that what's being released is emotional turbulence surrounding this particular connection that I'm sensing for many of you. But there's still this, like the waves of the ocean, there's still this like constant replaying of what went wrong and this like anxiety, almost like you're being swept in it, in a sense, like back and forth, like you're rocking back and forth. Like I'm getting some kind of energy of that, where there's still some instability, you know, and this really feels really residual type of energy. Okay, we have the legal card, which says lawyer's court paperwork. So there could be some sort of symbolic contract, and when I say contract, I'm really talking more about karmic contracts. So I feel like there was some sort of toxic element, something that was spoken or unspoken in this particular connection. I'm even sensing that many of you felt really bound to this divine counterpart, this masculine energy, feminine energy, however it connects with you. And so there's something that's really draining or taxing about this particular energy that I'm sensing here. We also have the today card. So this says good vibes. It says now. It says in the moment. So really, this is like the breakthrough card right here. This is where spirit is really wanting you to really acknowledge that your current power really is in the current present moment. So this may only connect with a few people, but I do get the sense that some people might be kind of living in this grief moment still, like that residual energy that I was talking about. It's almost like you're kind of stuck a little bit in the past, like you haven't fully released all of the energy. It's like it's still sort of there, but it's more like an echo or just, like I said, residual energy that you haven't fully integrated, but you have been doing the major step to get you out of that particular energetic cycle. And so you are living in a today sort of present moment, but there is still something there that hasn't fully shifted yet. So I'm sensing a lot of fear driven type of energy as well, that is coming up with this particular card. Really, it's more with the legal card. There's just something karmic that I'm really feeling. So I get the sense that spirit really wants you to kind of live more in the present moment, experiencing good vibes, experiencing the now moment, really just relishing the present instead of relishing the past or replaying loss is what it feels like. So really what I'm sensing is spirit wants you to sort of, turn the corner, so to speak, and not be bound by this grief, residual energy, and being more open to receive, for what is to come next. So that actually is going to lead us into the next card, which is based off of this current energy to see what it is that is to come for us as I'm shuffling. So let's see what we have here. Okay, so a slew of cards came out. I know I say that a lot in a lot of readings, but usually I don't feel guided to take a slew of cards, because sometimes it does feel like, it's too many cards, too many messages. But once I realized what I was seeing here when I looked at these cards, and then I realized the number of cards that came out all at once, with the Five of Cups, I realized, okay, we have the angel number 5 5. So that number really, is talking about change. So there is a significant change that's already transpiring for us in the collective. And it's definitely unavoidable, but it's like a blessing type of, change. So what I mean by that is I mean that it's almost like a blessing in disguise. Honestly, it's almost like a metamorphosis of sorts. So it's definitely a major transition, and it feels like freedom from restriction is what it really feels like. But to go into the messages here, we have the star card in the upright position. Such a beautiful energy, and it's paired here with the lovers reversed, the page of swords in the reverse position, the seven of swords upright, and the eight of pentacles in the upright position. So I feel like we have a lot of energy dynamics here. So we have, earth sign energy, we have, air sign energy as well. So, this is really prominent if you connect with those energy dynamics. But what I'm seeing here is the story really coming together. This is really like a progress spread, so to speak. And it really feels like the collective has been really moving through a lot of grief, emotional waves, and they're really anchoring themselves right now. So this feels like an anchoring type of energy. And what I'm sensing here, what I'm feeling is that there's this renewal, there's this rejuvenation that is coming with you staying on this path. And as you stay on this path, that is, if you choose to stay on this path, I'm sensing that there's going to be a lot of releasing of illusions when it comes to love and connections with the lover's card. And there's going to be a lot of miscommunication. There's going to be a lot of external noise, a lot of clarity that is not coming through. So, a lot of misaligned type of, mental type of energy. And it doesn't really feel deep, it just feels a little confusing, honestly. But I feel like spirit is really, asking yourself to figure out and take root where peace and prosperity is, to really think strategically about where you want to be, in the long haul is what this feels like. It just feels like there's something really grounding on the other end of a lot of this chaotic type of energy that I'm sensing, because I'm really sensing a lot of deception and hidden motives from a certain somebody in your energetic field. But I really also feel like spirit is wanting you to really kind of refine your strategy on how you move when it comes to that particular energy dynamic, because it really feels like something from the past. It doesn't really feel like it's something that is current. It's more like something residual that you're kind of carrying with you, is what it feels like. But it doesn't feel like it's something that you're no longer entrapped in or entangled in, is what it feels like. So spirit is really, focusing on you where it really wants you to stay devoted to your growth, because you really have grown a lot with everything that you've been through recently, is what it feels like. And choosing to really focus on that is really going to help you create a new foundation within yourself. And things are just really going to continue to expand, is what it feels like. So this really feels like a positive type of energy, even if these cards may seem like negative messages to you. I know we haven't really gotten a lot, too deep into exactly what I'm feeling. I know this may feel a little surface level, but I'm trying to keep it as sort of ambiguous as possible so that it does connect with everybody. And I'm not really feeling any kind of heavy, like deep messages that are really coming through with this particular spread because I really feel like for you, there's just a lot more integration that needs to happen. And I really feel like everyone's integration is really looking really different for them at the present moment as I say this, as I'm doing this particular reading. So, you know what change is looking like for you. So, we don't have to really discuss that in this particular reading. But what we do need to discuss is where you currently are before you get to all of this right here, before you get to something that is a little bit more secure and grounding for you, something that is going to make you feel really like you've mastered this particular type of integration. Okay, and that current energy is the Eight of Wands in the upright position. This is a card I haven't seen in quite a while, but the Eight of Wands is all about quick, swift movement. So this could be messages, synchronicities, decisions, a lot of quick shifts that are happening for you or lining up for you right now in the present moment. So, a lot of momentum has been activated right now. The path forward is really starting to unfold a lot faster than you may have expected. And honestly, as I say that, I really feel like a lot of you are feeling that shift where there's a lot of forward momentum or what may seem to you like divine timing at work, where a lot of delays are being cleared up. They're putting you in the flow of a lot of things that you're trying to align with in your 3D right now. So there's a lot of acceleration. There's a lot of this new energy wave that is really pushing you into alignment. But see, in order for all of this to happen, we have to see exactly what it takes for you to get there. Because I feel like whatever it is that you need to do in order to get to that potential timeline that we just discussed, that will happen very, very quickly if it's not already happening for you. We have to see exactly what it is you need to let go of, what you need to release. So let's shuffle and see. Okay, and that card is the Nine of Pentacles in the reverse position. Now, normally the Nine of Pentacles in the upright position is such a beautiful, independent energy, but what I'm sensing here automatically is there is this sort of self-sabotage type of energy that's going on here. There's a lot of self-doubt when it comes to dependency. You're really reliant on others at the present moment. And you're trying to identify too tightly to material or outer validation when it comes to stuff. So when I say stuff, I mean like in your 3D, the things that you know are really tangible for you at the present moment. So many of you are really kind of stuck in, like, I don't know why I want to say self-preservation for some strange reason, but it's more like you're trying to validate something in your 3D. But I'm picking up a lot of imposter energy where it feels like you don't deserve, or you feel like you don't deserve success, love, freedom, unless it looks a certain way in the 3D. So Spirit is really urging you really to let go of that doubt that undermines your self-worth. And I'm really sensing, again, a lot of like over identification when it comes to material security. So there's a lot of fear right now around money, status, comfort, things that, people really kind of cling to make them feel safe. But really, it's sort of a limiting energy dynamic that I'm really speaking to. So Spirit is really wanting you to really release that type of limiting energy dynamic because true abundance is sovereignty. And that's what this potential future timeline. So if you let go of, a lot of this self-doubt, you can reach this potential timeline where you feel completely grounded and really centered and mastered, into whatever your 3D is trying to look like for you that you're trying to manifest. but you have to release a lot of this codependency on others, this reliance, this external validation on others to, say that you're worthy of something. And I really feel like that's going to connect with many of you in the collective because I really feel like whenever this integration is, especially after a lot of the astronomical events that have occurred, the 9-9 portal, the blood moon, I really feel like a lot of you have been really clinging to sort of like the shadow element to this card. And so Spirit is really urging you to release that so you can get to this potential timeline here. So I don't know why, but that feels really heavy for some reason. So I had to kind of take a deep breath, a little sigh right there. So I really hope that many of you can obtain that particular outcome because I really feel like it's definitely within reach. But it's all about you letting go. It's all about you surrendering and trusting the process. So, with that said, we're going to end the reading here, but I'm going to draw one final oracle card just to sum up the energy of this reading. Okay, and we have the self doubt card. So, no surprise there. I hate to say it, but this card says you are questioning yourself and unable to move forward. Don't let fear hold you back. You have the strength and power to see it through. Now is the time to break free from this limiting pattern. So that is where we're going to end this particular reading. I want to thank everyone for extending their beautiful high vibrational energy to the reading. I really do hope something here connects with you. This definitely is a timeless reading, so it is meant for you when you need it most. And I do hope you have a wonderful remainder of your day or evening. And I do hope to connect with you in the next reading.